What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I have another awesome drill to share with you. Now we've already covered drills for accuracy as well as reaction time. The drill I'm going to share with you today is designed to help you win more gunfights by incorporating a few elements from those previous drills, along with some new elements for you guys to work on. Let's get into it. Alright, so first we're going to get into the setup and then I'll explain my reasoning behind the various aspects of this drill and how it will actually help you win gunfights more consistently. So just like with our previous drills, we're going to be creating a private match against bots. To set this up, select a smaller map like Strike Zone, Tremor, or in this case I'll use Ignition since it's one of the newer maps, and then we're going to set the game mode to Free For All. Now set the time limit and the score limit to unlimited, or if you'd like, you could add a time limit for whatever duration you decide, but just keep in mind the longer you do this for and the more often you do it, the better your results will be. So now that we have that set up, set your health to either heavy duty or double, just like in the accuracy drill. You don't necessarily need double, but it will help you to keep your shots on target if you'd like to use that. And now we're going to select 11 bots, and we're going to set those bots to recruit. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, set them to regular, but I recommend starting with recruit bots even if you're a proficient player, and I'll explain my reasoning for that later on. Moving on to the class we want to use, this one is actually quite flexible, but I would definitely say use a full auto assault rifle or SMG, and I actually like to mix it up and try a different weapon every time I do this drill, and that just allows me to get a better feel for each weapon. In this case, I'll just pick the MTAR. For attachments, you want to use extended mags and then whatever other attachment you're comfortable with. As for perks, we definitely want Ready Up, Scavenger, and Focus, and then I highly recommend Sleight of Hand and Marathon. But those last two could be swapped for something else if you'd prefer. They aren't really vital to the drill. So that's it for the setup. Let's get into what you want to do in the game. This particular drill is centered around training yourself to jump shot as well as drop shot while maintaining speed and accuracy to gain an advantage in your gunfights. Some people have an issue with people that jump shot or drop shot, and they somehow view it as a cheap tactic, and to them I say too bad. These maneuvers are part of the game and there's no question that they can be very effective in helping you win gunfights more often. The pros do it, a lot of the top public match players do it, why shouldn't you do it too? So what we're going to do is every time you fire at an enemy, either jump shot or drop shot, and really focus first on accuracy and then second on speed. So try to do everything really quickly, but don't sacrifice your aim in the process. You want to hit almost every one of your shots just like in the accuracy drill. If you start to miss your shots, slow things down a little bit, work on your aim, and then you can pick up the pace again. Obviously, for drop shotting, a tactical layout is best, so I definitely recommend using a tactical layout, but if you really don't have any interest in using the tactical layout, then just focus on jump shotting every one of your enemies. Now, you don't need a scuff controller to be able to jump shot effectively. I personally don't use a scuff controller, and after doing this drill a few times, I feel very comfortable doing a jump shot, and I've been implementing it into my games with great success. One big tip for jump shots is they're most effective when you're moving laterally to your enemy. So basically, you want to make it so they have to adjust their aim either left or right to be able to hit you. If you don't move laterally and just jump while you're moving straight towards them, it's typically not very effective because they just have to adjust their aim upwards a little bit, and oftentimes the recoil of their weapon will do that for them. So always try to have some degree of side-to-side movement with your jump shots. Throughout this drill, you also want to be experimenting with which situations are best suited to each of these maneuvers. When coming around a corner to engage an enemy, jump shots are almost always best because you have that lateral movement, and the average player will often be taken off guard by this. As for the drop shot, I personally like to use it when I run into an enemy out in the open when I have no cover. This makes you a much more difficult target to hit than you would be if you just stood there and tried to shoot back. And this is what most players will usually do. Just play around with it and see what works best for you in the various situations that you run into. So typically, I like to do this until I feel I've developed a really good rhythm and maintained that rhythm for a while. Usually I'll stop after I get a chem strike or maybe after 100 or even 200 kills. And that's this drill. Now it's time to explain why this drill works and actually helps you win more gunfights, and then later on I'm going to talk about my reasoning behind a bunch of the choices that I made while developing this drill. The number one thing that this drill is going to help you with is gaining a better sense of overall control over your character in any situation. Most people during gunfights are kind of stuck in like a one-dimensional world. They don't move from side to side at all, and they would never even think of jumping or drop shotting. They just aim and shoot. By doing this drill often, it opens up some options for you, so when you find yourself in a gunfight, you can use those options if you feel they're necessary. One thing I do want to stress with this drill is that I'm in no way suggesting that you should be jump shotting or drop shotting in every single gunfight in a real game. That just wouldn't be practical. For the purposes of this drill, we do it every time so we become comfortable with knowing that we have these options available to us if we feel we need to use them in a real in-game situation. A lot of people would like to do these kinds of things in the middle of a gunfight, but they just can't process these things fast enough in their mind because they don't practice it. For the average person, pressing the jump button while shooting at an enemy on target isn't even an option. All of their mental energy is already being used on the gunfight. This drill will take you to the next level by developing muscle memory for these maneuvers. With lots of practice, you won't even have to think about pressing that jump button in the middle of a gunfight. It'll just happen naturally once your brain decides that that's the proper move to do. Alright, so now I want to explain why I designed certain aspects of the drill the way I did, because I often run into cynics, or just people that are genuinely curious about why I do certain things in my drills. So the big thing that a lot of people may be wondering is why the lower level bots? Wouldn't a higher difficulty bot be better for you? This drill is designed for you to master the ability to control your characters in ways that you may not be used to. The bots are just there to be targets for us to practice these movements on. Just like with any drill, repetition is key, and we don't need the bots interrupting our rhythm by killing us all the time. Since we really want to focus on performing these maneuvers while maintaining our accuracy, you may run into times when you need to slow things down a little bit and focus on your aim before picking up the pace again. With the higher difficulty bots, you don't get this time to correct these issues, and it could be detrimental to what you're trying to accomplish. This is where that saying comes in. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. If you don't correct your issues during practice and you allow yourself to sacrifice aim for speed in this case, you're only practicing bad habits. The next thing I want to explain is why we want heavy duty or double health for this drill. Just like with my accuracy drill, we do this to train ourselves to be able to hit consecutive shots on a consistent basis. If you become proficient at hitting 5 or 6 shots in a row in practice, it'll be much easier to hit the 3 to 4 shots in a row that you need to get a kill in a real game. Finally, for those that have seen my accuracy drill, you might be wondering why I didn't follow suit with this drill and turn the radar to always on. This is sort of where the reaction time drill comes into play. You may remember that in my reaction time drill, we had the radar turned off completely, so we were really forced to pay attention to our screen and react to seeing an enemy on the screen rather than being able to prepare for him by using our minimap. In this drill, I want to incorporate some form of reacting to seeing an enemy on the screen as well, but unfortunately, if we want that increased health, which is extremely important to this drill, we can't remove the radar completely, so the least we can do is not set it to always on. So that's going to wrap it up for today's drill. I really hope you guys find it as helpful as I have over the past couple weeks. If you're new to the channel and you're looking for more ways to improve at Call of Duty, make sure you have a look at some of my other videos, and if you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys next time.